Rundown, Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Check out therundownlive.com. Mike P. Kristan H. The Rundown, Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Check out therundownlive.com.
What up, guys? We are live here. It is Thursday, February the 20th, live here on the Rundown Live, rundownlive.com. Mike Pachesney, Kristan Harris.
Hey.
We are here this Thursday. Let's just start it off right. We're going to be joined with the Wallis guys. We're going to be joined with Scrump and Guy Wallis, a.k.a. Justin and Sean. We Are Change guys. A lot of you guys may know them as, frontline activists in We Are Change, musicians, friends of yours. So just cool guys. They're going to be joining us here in a few minutes to talk Bilderberg and Illuminati and
a bunch of guys that use their abilities in a very neat way to spread liberty.
Right. Just hanging out, and we're probably going to open up the line. So we're going to get that. Did
we mention reptilians twice in 2 days?
We're going all out reptilian now, Kristan.
What's going on with the reptilian thing?
Wait till you see the flyer tomorrow. Just wait. That's just a preview, guys. Just wait for tomorrow. But anyway,
tomorrow it's going to be at a reptilian.
1-414-455-4333. If you guys want to call in here in a few minutes, we're going to be joined with those guys. But before we do that, let's talk about the site, talk about the sponsors, Kristan.
Sure. One of the coolest things that we offer is the information on the rundownlive.com. So next time you guys get on a cell phone or in front of a computer and want to see the latest in news and information, head on down to the rundownlive.com. You can also check out a lot of our cool information on there, including past radio shows, past YouTube videos. There's quite a bit of information on the website. In fact, Mike, we never really stop and really talk about all the things we offer on our website.
It's in depth. It really is.
We offer like a live feed so that when you guys hear these awesome guests, you can actually chat with us. How cool is that you have access to the same people we do at the same time? So if you guys haven't had a chance to tune in live on the web when we're live, make sure you guys do sometime. It's at therundownlive.com/live. There's so much information on there. We even have news links to other news organizations and information. Also, if you're looking to support the Rundown Live, make sure that you guys check out our sponsor and click the private internet access banner while visiting the Rundown Live. That's what Mike and I use to give us ultimate privacy online. Private internet access allows Mike and I to surf anonymously, basically making it impossible or near impossible for anyone to track or see what you're doing. It creates a VPN tunnel scrambling the information so that you can search the internet anonymously. You can read your bank statements anonymously, your emails, and you can even download anonymously. What's even better yet is if you've ever been banned from any video games or sites, things like World of Warcraft, Call of Duty, you can avoid those bans. It allows you to appear to be a different IP address or from a different part of the world completely. So for $39.95, you can cover 5 computers. And I tell you what, a little bit of that purchase supports what we do here, so make sure you guys check them out. That's for a whole year, 5 computers. You can't beat that. Mike and I can attest to that. So we also have something very special and free for you guys today. If you guys haven't yet, you guys need to get the Rundown Live app on your cell phone. It's free. Go to the Google Play Store or the iTunes Store or Amazon Store where you can download the app for free, listen to our past episodes with some of our great guests, local activists, and even open lines are all available on there. And there's also links to the show, and you can email us straight from the app, and it's free. You can't beat that. It's a great deal. And I tell you what, share it with your friends. Tell your friends about the Rundown Live. Share it on their Facebook, the information. We try to put a lot of work in this for you guys, and we really appreciate you guys spreading the word out there, by the way. We want to thank the listeners who tune in and listen to us live, as well as those on Stitcher and our YouTube channel. So check it all out. And I think that's it, Mike. Oh, if you guys want to donate straight to the Rundown Live, we have Bitcoin and PayPal donation available on our website. We are fueled by you, and we thank you very much for that.
Yes, that was actually really good, man. We got a lot of stuff that you guys can check out on the site. tons of ways to listen live. We have YouTube after the fact and Stitcher and all these things. So basically, if you guys aren't listening live, you know, at least you can hear the show anytime after the fact, like 30 minutes after the show. That being said, we're going to bring Guy Wallis on, and we're just going to start getting into it and stuff. We got a bunch of stuff on the site, but we could probably just talk about that once we bring Guy on.
Sure. One thing that our listeners need to really realize, if they haven't already, is all these things that were called conspiracy at one time that have come true. I'll give you some great examples. How about the Council of Foreign Relations? It was a conspiracy. It did not exist. How about drones? 2 years ago, you were a conspiracy theorist and it did not exist. How about us funding Al-Qaeda? You were a conspiracy theorist and it did not exist. And how about the Bilderberg Group, which is now getting national news and making the publications worldwide because it didn't exist, and now we know it does. So I think it's one of the ways that they use to discredit people, ridicule. People are terrified of ridicule. I say let them ridicule you. That means you're on the right track. So
Right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course they're going to try to hide the sensitive information, but it's came out more and more with the internet. There's really nothing they can do to stop it. Back in the day, you used to have to find these crazy books at libraries that were like hidden in underneath piles of other books and things like, oh, the Illuminati, what's that? But I did want to mention before we get too far ahead of ourselves, we do have Guy Wallis on the air with us. How you doing, Guy?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Just hanging out, man. It's good to have you. We didn't give you a fair intro, man. You're a musician. You've been with We Are Change. You know, you got your band, One Watt Sun. We played your song when we came in, and we've also used your song, Roach Motel, before. So you do a lot of good work, man. It's our pleasure to have you on, man.
It's really good stuff, man. It reminds me a little bit of one of my more favorite bands out there called Starflyer 59. They're kind of like a showgaze type deal. It's very good. Indie rock.
That sounds cool. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, I've never heard of them, Kristan. You listen to that fringe rock, and I know there's all kinds of bands.
It's alternative and independent, just like us, Mike.
Right, exactly. So that, you know, it's hard to say exactly. I've never heard a lot of that. And dude, the music, it's definitely awesome. So that's like where I guess we should start. Since you've never been on the show, why don't you just kind of introduce yourself? I know you've been hanging out with We Are Chains, and you just put out the Bilderberg documentary, which you guys can see on our website. It was called War Money, right?
Yeah, that's
War
right.
Money, and it's basically goes into the Bilderberg 2012, but more in depth, who's attending, what they're doing, and things like that. So what got you involved in this? Was it the music, or was it JFK, 9/11? What got you involved in the conspiracy world?
I guess, I don't know, kind of since I was a kid, just my dad telling me to question everything, and you know, kind of just growing up with people like Scrump, and just, you know, looking into things, not believing what they tell you in school, and just kind of progressing. Like, there's still a lot that I'm trying to learn, but I guess just over the years, like that stuff. I mean, I saw like Loose Change when it came out,
Right.
maybe a little after it came out, and I was that blew me away, you know. And I've always wanted to do stuff with like film, so kind of getting into that, the Bilderberg documentary.
Well, and then what about the video for Roach Motel? You made that, right? That was
geez.
Yeah.
that was actually a pretty cool video.
Sounds like
man.
you had a pretty cool dad too. What was his name? Fox
Yeah.
Mulder.
No, it's actually funny though. That's X-Files is one of my favorite shows.
Oh, I
used
love that
to-
show. Yeah, sure. We all grew up. Twilight Zone, X-Files, anything
Yeah.
that provokes thought and
Definitely.
makes you see that there's a lot more to world outside of the box than there is in, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Right.
me and my dad actually used to watch that together. So, you know, and Scrump's dad actually, my uncle, was a big influence too. You know, just always taught us to question everything, and, you know, just read up on stuff.
Yeah, see, I really didn't have that influence, to be honest. Like, my parents were fairly establishment, you know what I mean? And I didn't really
Yeah.
have a lot of outreach to go to, so I had to discover everything on my own via the interweb, you know what I mean? And they're like,
Yeah.
what the F is this 9/11 stuff? And then, like, JFK, and I'm like, something's not adding up right here. So it's definitely interesting how you're raised, and that's a good thing for now. You see lots of youth being educated about things like the Federal Reserve and things. Now, whether or not they're being indoctrinated in like a Common Core school or something, or they're at a home where, you know, their family's teaching them, like, not necessarily like the Ron Paul curriculum, but, you know, anti-Federal Reserve, you know, anti-big government, pro-Second Amendment, you know, these type of things that are so frowned upon with big government these days. But, you know, that's definitely a cool thing. I don't know. It's kind of gone away, I think, in this country specifically. I mean, we don't really have a lot of people claiming their Second Amendment rights anymore. I mean, we do.
Yeah.
We have a group, but not everyone. There's like, it's like pretty much split. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that think, oh, you don't need guns. You don't need guns to be safe. It's just like, it shows you how indoctrinated the country has become, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just talking to a friend earlier about one of his ex-girlfriends who just, I don't know, she writes all this stuff. I don't know if it's for like a college paper or what, but it's like she's a good writer. She uses a lot of big words, you know, but I mean, it's basically just like, yeah, let's take away all the guns. You know, let's worship Obama. Let's just believe everything we're taught in school. I was saying like, yeah, I'd have to watch like Fox News every day for a year and believe everything they said to write something like that, you know? It's like, it's well written, but it's just like, yeah, take away everyone's guns, you know, worship the president, you know, stuff like that. It's just like, I don't know.
It's propaganda. It's brainwashing. And you know what's funny? I was going to do a joke when I introduced you. I was going to be like, Guy Wallis, the huge Obama supporter. But then I didn't want people to be like, you know, thinking like, oh, is this for real? So I just was like, I better not do that. That's a bad idea. So I was actually thinking about, you know, setting you up for a little joke there. But I was like, I don't want people to take it the wrong way. And then,
well, I think that's the thing. Look at how glorified the presidential position is now. These congressmen, they used to not make a whole lot of money, so they'd want to go back to their businesses and work, you know, but it was more of a service that they were doing to the country. Now that they're so well paid, $175,000 a year for like a congressperson, like you know, like a Gwen Moore here in Milwaukee, you know, that's quite a little bit of money, you know.
Yeah.
I mean,
and they're all worshipped. They want to be worshipped. They can get away with things that we can't, you know.
Well, that's the whole thing. Government is like their separate class, you know. We're just the the roaches, you know. We're just the peons. We're nothing compared to the elite government. They're above us. We're subhuman according to these people. And that's the way they pretty much treat us, whether it's legislation or, I mean, look at things like the Bilderberg group. This is what they do. They set up controls, not really for the elite structure, for the peons and the serf class. These, like, how will they control our population? How will they poison us with GMOs and these type of things? I mean, it's kind of ridiculous at the end of the day.
Well, you know, that's another thing, the whole Bilderberg thing. Why don't we explain to our listeners, Justin, what Bilderberg
this is Guy.
Guy. Sorry. I apologize, Guy. What Bilderberg is, how you got involved in it, and what does it control? Who goes to Bilderberg? And tell us what you know about it. Let's talk a little bit about this and get into your video just a tad bit.
Hold on a second. I'm having trouble here. Hold on.
Oh, no, that's all right, man. Basically, he was just, I don't know if you can hear us or not, but he was asking you about the Bilderberg. I don't know. What were you asking him, Kristan?
Basically, I was asking is, what got you interested in the Bilderberg? How did you find out? What is Bilderberg? Who goes to it? And what is the purpose of it?
Basically, just kind of the elites that the bankers and people who kind of rule the world in secret. I heard about it maybe I don't know, probably 3 or 4 years ago, actually, from Justin. And I mean, I'd heard a lot about, you know, the bankers and the elites for a while, but that got me more interested. I looked more into it, and then we went to the protest in 2012. That's where I filmed some of that documentary, and I actually only got to go to half of it because I couldn't get off work for the other half. But yeah, that was actually a really like a mind-blowing experience. It was really kind of life-changing, you know. I mean, I've been to protests before, but I don't know. There's something about that one. It's just
I would have
seemed
to
like-
agree. I would have to agree because I was there. I believe we briefly met there. It sucks. Like I said, we've gotten to know each other so much better since then. But back then it was like, I was up like just basically and didn't know anybody. I only knew like Luke and Scrump, and that was pretty much it. I didn't really have a lot of activist connections and stuff. So, it was good to at least get involved. But definitely, you're right, man. That like, first of all, the whole feeling of this is actually real kicks in. Like, because until that point, I had my speculation like, man, what if this is all just hype? What if Jones is just a hype man? And I drove all the way out to D.C. because I drove to D.C. from Milwaukee, you know what I mean? So I took a risk all the way going out there, and then there was no signs of the protests when we showed up. They didn't have any of the fencing up or any of that stuff when we showed up. So, I mean, then when we start seeing those black limos rolling up, then they set the fence up, and you're like, man, this shit is real, man. This shit is real. And then and then we catch Kissinger and all these guys coming in like it was nothing.
Yeah, that was crazy. I missed the very beginning of it because I couldn't get off work, but it's actually sad because I heard that was some of the just craziest people getting arrested and everything, and yeah,
I think there was only a few
walking
people,
too, wasn't it? Weren't they just walking across the street?
A few people got arrested. One girl got like assaulted and grabbed and dragged, and I believe that one's on video. And then another one, a guy stepped in the road and they snatched him up. Yeah, he just stepped in the road for a brief moment. And they're just exercising their authority. And what's weird, well, first of all, that Bilderberg, I think, is going to change the way the protests are forever now, because you saw the UK. I don't know if you saw it, Guy, but the UK protest was totally different than how it was set up in Chantilly. Basically, the UK protest was like an event, like a concert, and they had like stages and bathrooms set up, and like basically they entered through like a little gate, and it was like totally a festival. It was not at all what we went to. And it's just like, what's it going to be? Because we're getting to be in that time of year when Bilderberg's coming back around. This is a yearly thing. Now, whether or not it's going to be in America, we don't really know. But, I mean, where's it going to be this year? Is it going to be some charade of an event, or is it going to be like a legitimate protest this year? I wonder.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking about that too, because I think I heard a little bit about the last one in the UK. I didn't hear much, but I think Scrump was actually telling me something about how there was, I don't know, stages and everything.
I'm not saying it was like terribly bad, but it wasn't a protest. It was like an event. You know what I mean? It was like they had David Icke and Alex Jones speak. And like when we attended Bilderberg 2012, it was like a protest. It wasn't like an event. There was no stage for anyone to speak on. There was just a bunch of people holding signs in front of a doorway. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like an organized thing where for people to make money off of it. And it was just kind of bizarre the way they took it. I don't know. It kind of worries me a little bit what's happening with that. And I did want to mention before we keep going with Bilderberg, if anybody wants to call in, we do have the lines open, 1-414-455-4333. We're just going to be talking news, Bilderberg, probably not actually reptilians, but maybe, who knows. But, so we were just talking about Bilderberg and the kind of what got you awakened involved per se in what's going on. It's good that you're starting to produce some more stuff. Like I noticed, I listened to your whole CD, and some of your songs have lyrics that are now like towards the message. You know what I mean? Like the "Let 'Em Starve," I think it was called. We played on the intro, and it was like the government. I forgot what you said exactly at the end. Some about the government though.
I'm trying to think. I actually recorded that. I think I was doing vocals really late one night. That was kind of just an impromptu thing. I think I was actually drunk, and it got to the end of the track, and I just said that off the top of my head. But I was like, I kind of like that. It's cool. And the drummer in my band was like, yeah, that's actually cool. Let's keep that. So we just kept it on there. But one of my friends said he loves the song, but he just hates that part. they're probably calling me a conspiracy theorist and all, but it's like, dude,
It's like a signature, man. I actually liked it, and I actually listened to the whole album just before you came on. And this Electric Casualties album is really freaking epic, dude. This is a really good CD you got here.
Thanks, man.
Or
I
album,
really
whatever
appreciate
you guys want to call it these days. It's not a CD anymore, you know. That makes us sound old, doesn't it?
Yeah, we just sent off to have it printed in small quantity at first on CD, just like 100 copies first.
No vinyl though.
Actually, vinyl is hopefully
Vinyl's
next
hot
year.
Right
That's my favorite. I mean, cassettes are cool because they're analog, but vinyl is my favorite. But that's like super expensive. We're trying
just
to maybe
to ship
do
because
that.
it's heavy. That's the only thing, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to maybe next year, if I have money, get a small quantity of those printed. But we're actually recording the second album right now. Just put a bass track down before we got on here, so.
Awesome. And I while we're talking about your music, you're also a famous rapper, right?
Yeah.
What's your name? Heavy D?
Semi-famous. Hungry D.
Hungry D.
It's
Hungry.
it's kind of like
Eating up
Heavy
the
D,
words.
but- What's that?
You're eating up the words.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's kind of like Heavy D, but he's just really hungry and he smokes crack. It's, I mean, really, it's actually pretty funny. Like, I was actually just bored in my room one time and just thinking about how, I mean, I love old school hip hop, but I was just thinking about how mainstream rap is just so terrible these days. The lyrics are horrible. I'm like, dude, a 5-year-old could make these beats, you know, and I was like, I'm going to make an album that sounds like Lil Wayne, but I'm going to make it in like half an hour. And I made it was only like 9 tracks, but I made like 9 songs just off the top of my head in like half an hour. And they're actually pretty fun. I think it's more entertaining than Lil Wayne, honestly.
I just remember you got that article. The guy wrote the article about it, and he was like, "This is the worst CD ever made in history." And I was just like, "What?"
Well, he's
the F?
obviously never listened to like G.G. Allen or something.
Oh, right, exactly. It was just so funny to me because I was like, clearly you weren't being serious, but I mean, who knows what that guy thought? He probably thought you were serious.
Yeah, actually, it's funny. I know a lot of people that try to, get their band in the city paper, and someone texted me, they're like, "How'd you get in the city paper?" And I'm like, "What? I doubt my band's in there. I don't know anybody on that." And I looked it up, and it was actually just Hungry D. And they said it was the worst album of 2012.
That's what it was.
And that was awesome because I was trying to make a point that mainstream rap is so terrible these days. I was trying to make it as bad as I could.
Right.
That was the point, but it was, it was a mockery of like Lil Wayne and stuff like that.
Well, I remember a lot of the good hip hop. I used to like a lot of the stuff like the Black Sheep, and some of the like more of the intellectual hip hop. It really put thought in big words, and they actually had to work hard to make things rhyme. They just add at the end of every song.
Yeah.
I've always been more of a rock guy myself. I mean, I do listen to rap and hip hop, Immortal Technique, stuff like that. But I listen to all kinds of stuff. But I've always stayed more in like a metal rock, classic rock genre. You know what I mean?
See, I've always been an indie punk rock grunge, type guy.
I do like grunge, and I see a lot of the grunge, right, with Guy. I mean, in your music, I sense the Nirvana influence in that, man. It is really good. I do honestly like your music, man. It is badass. I mean,
he hasn't shared it with me. He's hogging it all.
He always says that, but I share it all the time. We've already played your songs on the show before.
Yeah, I know. He didn't send me an MP3. I have to listen to the episode in order to hear it.
Hey, I'm playing it off the Bandcamp. And if you guys are wondering, by the way, we're talking about his band. It's called 1 Watt Sun, and you could check him out on Bandcamp, right?
Yeah.
1 Watt Sun, 1 Watt Sun band.bandcamp.com, and I think you can listen to everything for free, right?
Yeah, I think I should have it set where you can actually download all the albums for free. You can name your own price if you want to pay $1, you can, but you know, you can
Right,
get it
that
for,
just helps you out, though. Why
That's
not?
awesome.
If you can buy a guy a beer, I don't know if you drink or anything, but a toke or whatnot. That was another thing. I was going to call you an anti-pot activist. But I was just like, man, I don't want to come out sounding like we're satire and shit, and then people are going to be like, what? This guy Obama, anti-pot? Turn it off right away. Like, we would have turned off half the audience immediately. But no,
listeners, because people be like, "Oh, this guy's a dick, man. I want to, you know."
oh, people think that about us anyway. Don't worry about that.
Well, Mike at least. I don't know.
Right. Mostly me because well, anyway, we don't have to go
I'm
into
the extra tolerant nice guy. I respond.
But so anyway, what do we got? I know, Kristan, what were you telling me about earlier? You were mentioning a story. Do you remember what you were talking about?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I remember completely. It was about a Detroit woman today who had they recently had someone break in their house, so she decided to get a gun and get her permit and things of that nature, I'm assuming. And three guys attempted to break in her house. She shot at them, and they started shooting back, and she ended up shooting one of them. They all ran away. So, and they ended up catching them in Detroit, and it just shows it was her and her, I believe, I don't know if it was her and her daughter, but it was her and her sibling, her child, and the police ended up pursuing them and getting them. And it just shows that, you know, guns in the hands of good people offers protection.
Well,
There's no way the police would have gotten there.
Detroit. I mean, Detroit's a city we've seen like the citizen police force. I forgot that guy's name. We tried to get him on the show that has like the community task agency, and he like basically is like a cop, but he's not a cop.
So is that like the new Obama private citizen police?
Well,
that
it
he was
is
talking
in a way,
about?
but see, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with a neighborhood protecting itself. Personally, I think why
Get rid
not?
of the police then,
Right,
you know,
why
and
not?
save taxpayer money.
I think that's safe. The neighborhood knows the neighborhood. I think they're less likely to harass people that way that are like meant to be there. You know what I mean? But you know, it can get into dangerous territory. But then again,
people
private
hate
property.
someone and they have disputes with someone, you know. But
Right. It's hard to say.
But there's prejudice in all ends. If you take
Right.
a look at it, all the beatings that you've seen, these poor dogs the cops keep shooting. Not saying
the
they're
police
poor
aren't
dogs.
exactly fair. Right.
There
They're
you
not
go.
exactly fair.
Well, at least they don't discriminate. They shoot anything that moves, you know.
We do see that. We do see that. The police.
Well, then why are they having no knock raids if they're that scared? Why don't they just knock and say, hey, we're here, come on out? Most people would give it up, you know?
Because they want to shoot us, I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, does anyone know the answer? I wish somebody, if you know the answer, call in 414-455-4333. And I'm not even joking.
Why don't on a lot of these warrant raids where they have a warrant, why don't they just knock on the door? Seriously, it's a serious question. It would prevent a lot of problems, but instead we have tanks and we're getting all this new technology.
Well,
and
no knock
it's getting
raids are up
worse and worse.
1,000%. 1,000% I saw. So that's ridiculous. Why are they giving all these warrants for no knock warrants? Just knock on the freaking door.
all
Most
drugs,
people
too.
answer.
Marijuana.
Well, the thing is, or let's say it's marijuana. You're gonna go and kill somebody, or you maybe get shot for going into the wrong place for over a plant. That you could catch this guy and question him, and then get going when he's not there. You know when he's not there. You know. So, I mean, it's just ridiculous. I think that they are not using good discernment in these situations. And then they say they announce it. They probably, like, whisper it. They're like, we're coming in. You know, like you're going to hear that on the other side of the door.
They don't announce it. They just kick in the door. They throw the flashbangs. Look what happened when they raided Kokesh. They didn't knock. They booted the door in and they threw in flashbangs. I mean, it got to be, ridiculous at that point. But, so anyway, I know I was looking at some of the other stories here. Have you heard about all these bankers, man, that have been like jumping off buildings and stuff? What do you think about that? What do you think is going on, just in your opinion?
I'm kind of, I don't know. I haven't looked into it that much yet, but I've been hearing about it lately.
It's like
kinda
8
intriguing.
guys, and they all
Yeah.
have various different deaths. A few of them jumped out windows. One guy allegedly shot himself in the head with a nail gun. But what's weird, to me anyway, to give you a little background, is that, they're all associated in this banking industry, JP Morgan, and we got an article up on the Rundown Live connecting the dots, the big banker bodies. Well, it's not supposed to be the big banker bodies. It's supposed to be the big bank bodies, but I just saw that now anyway. But the point is, there's these bodies that are adding up, and whether or not they're suicides or there's foul play, it's strange whenever you see a bunch of bankers turning up dead. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. That's yeah. I've been meaning to try to research that, but that's I don't know. I've been saying for years that the dollar is going to collapse, and just hearing a lot of people talk about it, and Scrump said the same thing. It's just scary. Like when you see that happen, you're like, well, what do they know that we don't know yet? Or I don't know what, but
or what are they trying to suppress is what I'm worried about. I'm almost worried, like, what do these guys that are dying know? Like, are they being just offed? I mean, I'm not trying to be super conspiracy guy here, but I'm just throwing it out there. I mean, I'm sure, I'm not the only one that's wondering what's actually going on here. We know that the U.S. government has said things like they wanted to poison Snowden, so he just, like, went home and died in the shower. So
and these are senators and elected officials, too. What kind of good person says it? A guy, if you worked with a guy and he said, I think that somebody should go poison that guy, and if you don't do it, maybe I will. What would you think of that person you worked with? Would you even elect someone like that? I mean, is that the person that you want to represent your values, especially for the fact that the government rallied their wagons completely around the military and prison state complex? They didn't say, no, we're violating your rights. Oh, no, we're sorry. We need to shut down the NSA. No, they rallied around
We might turn off their water, though.
Yes, we might turn off their water, though. So they're pretty upset about that. And there's a lot of support growing for that, by the way. But
it seems so minuscule to me. But we were talking about the dead bankers, Kristan.
But even with the dead bankers, it's bizarre. I mean, you got 20 dead bankers recently, and 7 of them are high level. But we knew this economic collapse is, it's ultimately going to happen. And I think that we're going to start seeing a lot of the hyperinflation in the next 6 months. And I think that this is a foretelling that something
maybe that's
bad
why
is
they're
coming.
getting into Bitcoin so heavy right now, because they're speculating on the U.S. dollar later. Because we know that as far as Bitcoin, I don't know what your feelings are, Guy, on Bitcoin, but we know the FBI has one of the largest Bitcoin wallets now, and there's been some shenanigans going on. Do you have any opinions on Bitcoin at all?
Well, they need to launder that money, don't they, to get their marijuana and crack and cocaine shipped in from overseas or whatever?
They're manipulating the market.
Oxycontin that they ship in from Saudi Arabia.
They don't need Bitcoin
Opiates.
for that. They definitely don't need the Bitcoins for that. But do you got any thoughts on that?
I was interested in getting some Bitcoin, but I don't really know too much about it. And I don't know. I heard a few days ago that it collapsed, but then other people were saying it didn't, and I don't really know. But I thought it sounded like a really cool idea, in concept, but I don't know.
Well, no, that's fine. I think you're at a standing where a lot of people are right now. There's a lot of people that are just kind of watching. You know what I mean? They're like, I don't know if I really want to do this, but I'll keep an eye on it. That's how I was for a long time. I watched Bitcoin for a year and a half before I actually went and got a wallet and started using it and all that stuff. So, I mean, at least people are paying attention and they're kind of getting the feel of it. But I wouldn't say it crashed. Now, did the price drop? Yes. But every time the price drops, people buy more because the price goes low and they're like, wow, Bitcoin's really cheap. Time to buy more Bitcoin. You know what I mean? And as long as there's that supply and demand with Bitcoin, I think it's going to be, something that's in use, because as long as people want it, that price is going to come back up.
We're seeing more and more big websites accept it as well.
Sports teams and restaurants. There was an article.
Libertarian Party.
Wisconsin Milwaukee Business Journal covered Bitcoin Milwaukee today. Will Pangman, our buddy Milwaukee. Yeah, our friends over at
Milwaukee Bitcoin.
Our Denise Lockwood, a friend of mine, she used to work at The Patch, is now over at Wisconsin Business Journal. and they put together an article on Bitcoin, and they featured the Bad Genie meetup group and talked to Will. So that's just cool that the little mainstream attention for Bitcoin in our local area.
And Will's a big activist that we've been working with. He's a great local supporter, and he's probably one of the best
He taught us
minds
all
on
about
Bitcoin.
right? We didn't know anything before then.
Yeah, best minds we've known in Bitcoin. We trust him very much. He's very smart.
And he's actually becoming more recognizable nationally. I see him on the Bitcoin group and other recognizable Bitcoin media outlets. So that way, it just shows you that there's an interesting currency out there. And if you don't know about Bitcoin, it's not as bad as people say. I'm not talking to like just Guy here. I'm talking to the listeners, obviously, because there's a lot of people that are on the fence. They're like, well, they heard of all this bad stuff, and a lot of people think it's like the Antichrist, and like,
and let's not forget all this together. The end game is this is a huge testament of how big the liberty movement has been growing in Wisconsin to where we got people who are getting noticed nationally.
Well, right, it's the liberty movement in general, and it's the real liberty movement because everything is co-opted. You know what I mean? Even the liberty movement got co-opted there, and you can kind of see who's who. You can see who's legitimate and who's not. I think for the more educated people, they can tell. But it's definitely making progress, and I think Bitcoin is just another way to fight back. You know what I mean? I'm no expert in Bitcoin. You guys know that, but I know it's better than using the Federal Reserve note at this point. Do you have to use Federal Reserve notes still? Yes, you do. But at least with Bitcoin, it gives you other options. You know what I mean? You can do things, trade with people, tax-free. I don't even know if I'm supposed to say that. But
yeah, I totally agree, man.
Yeah,
totally
I
agree.
mean, it's like it kind of goes into that like voluntarist thing where like I want to use Bitcoin, you want to use Bitcoin, you want to fix my roof, I'll pay you in Bitcoin. If you can, pay your bills in Bitcoin, why wouldn't you do that? You know what I mean? There's no government involved, right?
Yeah, the point is to avoid the Federal Reserve, period,
Right.
because the criminal organization who has stolen almost $38,000 from each of us. We're all $38,000 in debt that they owe us.
I thought it was more than that.
Well, what's scary is that they owe us each $38,000, but they'll come and take your house for $1,000 past due on a home loan.
You're talking about $38,000 to like over 300 million people, though, right?
Yeah, it's like whatever the trillions of dollars is. Was it 90 trillion they're saying now with their guesstimate?
They just make up the money at this point.
They do. But what I'm saying is, why are we going to take people's houses for over $1,000 when the United States government, owes them? Like if they owe $1,000 in back taxes or something, it's just ridiculous. Because in the end, the government really owes us all a lot of money because they've loaned it all out.
Well, you got a tax rebate. You should feel thankful. You got
a tax rebate?
You got your little tax rebate. Yes, you got your rebate from taxes, and she'd be happy.
You paid in 60%, and they gave you $30 back. I mean, come on.
You mean you're mad about having your wages forcibly taken from you, and if you don't give them your wages, they put you in a cage? Is that what I heard?
Well, we're the only animals on this planet that pay to live here, Mike. But we should mention that you're and I, our great-great-grandparents probably paid 0% taxes. That's 100 years ago. We had 0% taxes, and we got by just fine. So what I think we need to do is limit our government and revamp this old system.
But I have a serious question, though. Who will build the roads?
Companies that would like to have things delivered. If they're going to have things delivered, they're going to have the roads paved to get there, aren't they? That's how it used to work.
You mean people will build the roads still?
Yeah, people will still build the roads.
I can't believe it.
Did you know what they did before the
government
subsidized
the roads? Who will run the power plants,
Kristan? Well, let me tell you a little bit story about what private companies used to do before everything was monopolized here. No, I'm just kidding. All right, but anyways,
we're just messing around, guys. Yeah, well, clearly we're just joking.
Let's be honest.
If people are like, "What the hell are these guys on crack? What the hell's going on here?"
If the government never subsidized traffic and the roads, we wouldn't have so many useless roads we don't use, number one. We'd have a lot more rail because all the private rail companies were forced out by all the roads because everyone was getting cars, and we'd have more what the green people want, which is more mass transit with rail. And, everyone would have more of everything they want. So the lesson to learn is whenever the government takes care of anything, it's always a bad idea. That includes healthcare, by the way.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
I mean, it's just, it's one thing after another. And I know you're out there in Maryland. I mean, I'm sure you're getting the police state just like everywhere else. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if you're in like the Baltimore area or where exactly you're at in Maryland, but I mean, I'm sure you're seeing the effects out there on the East Coast as well. I mean, it's just as bad here in the Midwest. Do you see the military APCs at the local police department for their SWAT team and stuff?
Actually, surprisingly, that's one of the things I haven't seen yet, but it's like I actually live a county over from Baltimore, so we go there sometimes and play shows and stuff. But I'm in Harford County, which is like, I don't know, since I was a kid, it was like a police state. Like even, years and years ago, we were always like, this is a freaking huge police state. I used to get harassed by cops just for taking a walk, like all the time. And it has definitely gotten worse, but I actually haven't seen anything, too insane yet. Just a lot of cops, and harassing people all the time.
Is it like a high crime area, or is it a fairly low crime area? But so it's a low crime area with a lot of cops, and that's I think that's what we're starting to see. A lot of the country, the low crime areas have a lot of cops, and the high crime areas have a smaller number of cops. For whatever that's worth, that's how it works these days. I don't know.
Yeah, it's true. It's funny.
It's revenue generation,
Yeah, exactly. When I go
in those safe areas, they give out a lot of petty tickets, though. They have, like, in New Berlin here in Wisconsin, I think they had double the amount of DUI pullovers than Milwaukee. And Milwaukee has 600,000 people.
Yeah.
And like New Berlin has 30,000.
That, right.
Something like that. So, I mean, they find other ways to make that money. And, I've seen police officers chalking plates and stuff when I grew up in the area, and I was out there, and not even joking, like their tires and things, so they can recognize who's leaving the bar, and it leads to cronyism. If you have that many cops, you need to send them in the city, or they need to take a look at the state as a whole, rebalance the budget, and send some of that New Berlin budget and some backup to Milwaukee to help them out there. How about that? Some share some of that budget, and
let's just
New Berlin's
get rid of
safe
some
enough
of the
right
cops.
now.
I don't think we need as many.
Yeah, we
That
don't need
too.
to. Well, in Milwaukee, I think we do, because we're way short
I
in
don't think we
Milwaukee.
do.
But
I
I
don't
think we
think
need peace officers
I don't think we do.
more so. No.
I don't think we do. I think we could use less police, less aggressive.
I think you're wrong,
pressure. Well,
In Milwaukee, especially.
what is okay? Well, how about this, Kristan? You tell me? What is more police going to do? Absolutely nothing. The same thing what is more TSA gonna do? Absolutely nothing.
What I'm trying to tell you,
I'm trying to tell you is that what is more police going to do? And the answer is absolutely nothing.
No, I
positive.
disagree. That's your
It's
opinion,
going
because
to
more police are going to allow them to respond at the appropriate
generation.
time. You have 8-hour response
You
times.
get 8 police at a traffic stop of an African American driver, and they all go up because they might have drugs on them. They don't go to domestic calls. They don't go to burglaries. They don't go to car robberies.
Well, maybe there isn't enough of them out there to able to
They
get
have plenty. See, that's the thing. They have a budget, and they have all these things. And the point is, more police is not ever the answer. More police is the wrong answer.
Well, I understand more government isn't good, but
Wrong.
Milwaukee, I
Yes,
don't think
less
there's
government.
enough
That
police.
is. Remember, I thought you were Mr. Conservative here. We don't need more police, Kristan. Jeez.
Well, if you have 2 police for 600,000
what is
people,
this
you're going to need more
illusion of
police.
safety coming out of here, Kristan?
So
we
Mike, are
need
you
more
saying we
police
don't need
so we
any
can be
police?
more safer.
So Mike, wait, so we should have 0
Who are the police protect? Last time I checked, the police want to arrest me. They're not protecting anybody I know. Shit, they pull over my parents. They pull over my friends. They pull over my brother. They pull over Guy Wallis.
Okay, so
they're not protecting anybody.
So what's your suggestion? There's an accident. What happens?
If there's an accident, what happens? The same thing that happens now. The traffic investigator goes out there. They don't have 4 or 5 traffic investigators. They have 1 traffic investigator on duty, and he probably goes to every accident. And if there's 2 accidents at the same time, then they gotta wait till the traffic investigator gets there.
You need at least 1 police officer is what you're saying.
The point I'm saying is you can get away with, not having a police officer on every corner in the city. And I disagree completely with adding more police. I think it's a terrible idea.
Even if it was voluntary?
Specifically if it was voluntary, because then you got nut jobs volunteering that are control freaks. I mean, this plays right into this shit.
So that's what you think neighborhood watches are? They're all nut freaks?
No, I think neighborhood watches would be a lot better.
Well, that's voluntary, is it not?
Well, I thought you meant police force voluntary.
Well, that's essentially what a neighborhood watch is.
I agree with a neighborhood watch. I agree with that.
Okay, well, then you're a little confused, I guess.
No, I'm not confused. I just don't want more police. I know that for a fact. A government entity like the police who are murdering people on a daily basis that we showcase on the show, we don't need more of them.
Like,
and I know we have police.
Like police.
You know what? We have police that listen to the show. We've had many sheriffs and police on, and that doesn't mean I dislike these individuals. It just means that I don't personally think that your job is protecting anyone. You can pretend all day that you're keeping the world safe, but at the end of the day, you're not.
Security is an illusion.
You're not. You're not. You're not saving anybody.
Somebody
just
can
a little walk out there
advocate
right now and murder 30 people, and the police are not going to save you. Will they catch the criminal? Who knows? But they're not going to save you. That's for sure. I mean, and that's just the harsh reality of this world we live in.
And that's why, like in Detroit, the best situation is to arm yourself, you know?
I can't believe Kristan is talking about more police guy. This is like blowing my mind. I'm like, Tim and Eric, I'm like,
advocate never hurts anyone, Mike. Never hurts anyone.
Mind
and it's good because people have these questions. If you don't bring up an argument.
Well, why don't we just give them more tanks and AR-15s and give the IRS grenade launchers,
how about they just
Kristan?
let us have tanks too? And then we just
that's the thing. You should be able to have a tank if you could afford a tank.
That's what I'm saying. We should be able to have tanks. So should they, but so should we then. You know, I mean, to be honest, no government should have fear of their people that they want to take their guns. If they want to take the guns, that means they have fear of the people, and if they have fear of the people, that means they're doing something wrong. And that's what it comes down to. I mean, the big point of Mike's and I conversation. Our conversation is essentially to give you an idea of both aspects. And security is illusion. Matt Mills proved that at the Super Bowl, did he not? Millions of dollars of security, and he came out and he grabbed the mic and he stole the show, right? He got the MVP award.
Tons of attention for 9/11 Truth. And I do want to say we only got a few minutes left here with Guy, so I want to make sure you can plug your music, any Facebook pages, anywhere you want people to check out, any thoughts you have here in the last couple minutes, man.
I guess if you want to check out One Watt Sun, it's what is it? One Watt Sun Band at bandcamp.com. And then I also have an acoustic thing I do by myself. It's also kind of political though. Mount Weather. It should be Mount Weather Band at bandcamp.com. So same idea. That's kind of like the acoustic version. And check out Hungry D if you want to. If you're just
Hungry D
bored.
is awesome.
If you're bored and stoned, it's pretty funny. Scrump loves it.
Well, send me a link to Hungry D. Mike's been hogging all the.
Yeah. I got all the good music here.
He sends me the books. He's
we're gonna
read, but you don't listen to music.
We're definitely gonna take it out with some of your music too. I just want people to be able to check it out. I mean, you're just another example of doing what you can. If you can do it through music, art, whatever you can, that's the way you got to do it, you know. And I thought you said you might even be thinking about maybe starting a show, so you never know. We might be seeing more Guy Wallis maybe here on Truth Broadcast. You never know, maybe here soon. That'd be cool, man.
I just started this my YouTube channel probably a year ago. I haven't really promoted it yet or anything. I'm actually trying to look up what it is right now. I think it's just YouTube / Reverend Guy Wallace, I think is what it is.
Right, Reverend Guy Wallace. I remember that, yes.
I'm not super internet savvy. Scrump kind of helps me with that kind of stuff, you know. He's my technical wizard, you know. But, I really liked making this short documentary, and I'm trying to do more stuff like that. I do have some, short political videos, too. And actually, the next video I'm doing, I think, is a cop spotting video where I just videotape tons of cops around my town. So
Awesome.
that should be kind of funny.
Yeah, and hopefully you don't get in any trouble or anything. Hopefully it's entertaining.
Yeah.
But I'll be definitely watching it. And if you guys want to check out the Bilderberg documentary, it's up on the Rundown Live. It's called War Money. It'll lead you directly to his YouTube channel if you can't find it. But we'll have links up to everything on the article. So anything else, man? Justin is awesome.
You, by the way.
Scrump he helped me out a lot, so I appreciate him. Make sure you tell him I said what's up, and much love. And if there's not anything else, man, I appreciate you just hanging out and listening to us argue out the police state and stuff, man.
Awesome. Yeah, I really appreciate it. I'm saying hi for Scrump right now because next time we'll try to maybe get on 2 computers or something.
Yeah, because we can pull up 20 people on the Skype if we had to. So
nice.
We can definitely hang out. So I appreciate it, man, and make sure everybody goes over to 1wattsunband.bandcamp.com. We'll have all the links and all that stuff, and then we're also going to take it out with one of your songs as well. So I appreciate it. I appreciate it, Guy Wallis, man. We are Change, Maryland.
Nice. Thank you guys very much. Have a good night.
Great conversation.
Take it easy.
All right. Peace, guys.
There goes Guy. Just fun hanging out there. He got to do a little commentary. His music is really awesome. Just one of our friends, fellow activists. It's good to hang out with these guys on the show.
It's always best to get your information from the people with their feet to the ground. You can't really accept things from a third or fourth point of view of somebody has written something and handed it down. It's always great to get it from the people who are out there seeing it firsthand, Mike.
Right, and actually doing things. Like, he's doing it with the music, and that's what he does. He's a musician, and that's the way he gets his message across. We have the radio show. Other people have, YouTube videos. We have, different people that are skilled at different things, and we're trying to showcase all these things. So that being said, make sure you guys go to the site, therundownlive.com. We have all kinds of new articles up. We have a military officer detaining a guy for filming near a military base. We have
ridiculous.
The bankers jumping out of windows. We got the new Joy Camp video at the Oscars. We got a bunch of stuff up there. Make sure you check out private internet access. That helps us out. Download the apps. Anything else, Kristan, before we're out of here for the night, man?
Well, definitely tell your friends about the Rundown Live. Make sure you tell them to check out the Rundown Live's website. When you guys share the articles, it helps us out here. But let's really spread the word of liberty. That's what this is about here. It's really good for me and Mike to have these conversations so you guys understand both sides and point of view and the argument behind it. Because let's say everyone has these questions, and for you guys to understand that only you are responsible for your own security. It's very important out there for you guys to understand that's your responsibility. Self-accountability. That's where it's at. Thank you guys out there who listen on TuneIn. For the people who haven't had a chance to yet, download the Rundown Live app to your cell phone. It's free. That's on Google, Amazon, and on iTunes. And we thank you guys bunches. Stitcher, the rest of you guys, have a good night. Stay classy, Milwaukee. It's going to be a rainy and cold night.
Yeah, it's definitely... It's getting warmer, though. That's definitely good. Don't forget about truthbroadcastnetwork.com is the home. Hardcore Harry's coming up next, followed by The Average Liberator with Corey Washington.
FPRN.
FPRN Radio is the encore, 12 a.m. Central, 1 a.m. Eastern. We'll be doing open lines tomorrow if you guys want to call in and hang out on a Friday. And that being said, we're out of here, guys. We love you in the chat. Tune in. We'll be back tomorrow. RundownLive.com. Big thanks to the Wallis guys for hanging out with us.
6 p.m. Pacific. Check out therundownlive.com.
One Watt Sun is the band. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube, Project Liberty Defined, or Big P Zone. Catch our vids. MP3 will be up in a little bit, guys. Make sure you hang out. Hardcore Harry's coming up next. Death to the New World Order.
Mike P, Kriston H. The Rundown, Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Check out therundownlive.com.